Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are here, where they're on the way, but nonetheless, one of the things that we're really speculating heavy about is will there be brand new evolutions in this game? And the reason why is, in the trailer, we saw this one square that sort of had all the typings of all the different Pokemon in it, and we're thinking that could either be hinting at what the new feature or gimmick is going to be in the game, you know, like Mega Evolutions or Z-moves, or perhaps it might be hinting at a brand new evolution our way, but we don't really know. Nonetheless, I want to take a look at what the possible evolution could be. But first of all, here is the question of today from last video. Thank you so much for leaving that comment. And also the new question of today, guys, is what kind of new feature would you want to see? Would you want fusions or megas again? What would you want to see? Let's get started. First up has to be the possibility of a dragon evolution. The reason I say this is because all the other like special typing moves and types such as fire, water, grass, psychic, dark, ice, and electric are all already filled in with one Pokemon in each one of them. The only spot remaining with special to its moves is dragon typing, so it only makes sense that this one would be the final one to fill in the remaining spot, hence why we are including it here on the list as we speak on this spot. Now, one of my personal favorite designs for this sort of ID has got to be this dragon type evolution made by Startboy, who created Longion, an evolution that uses the design elements seen in the typical Chinese dragon. Now, I know this may not have any, direct connection to Spain and Portugal, the places Scarlet and Violet are based on, but that really hasn't stopped them from making designs that have nothing to do with the regions they're based in before. So nonetheless, I still think this would be a cool design, and I think it would be great to fill in that remaining spot. And honestly, this is the most likely one out of every possible evolution. I think the dragon type is the most likely one to actually happen, hence why I think this design would be perfect for it. I think it just looks great and it just fits in. Again, it does have that Chinese dragon type design to it, which I really dig. Next is a flying type evolution, also made by Startboy. This is Olympion, a flying type evolution that soars the skies. Now, this is my opinion, and it's far less likely that this one will actually fit, but it doesn't really fit into the special category of evolutions. But I still find the idea of this one, a flying type evolution, to be pretty cool, and it's of course far less likely to happen and less talked about as a possibility, but I think the design here speaks for itself. It's an adorable and quite unique and different take on what an evolution could look like. I just think it's a nice ID, and it would be really cool if they decide to finally do something a little bit different in terms of the designs. I think we've had quite a standard design pattern for them. Why not change it up a little bit? Then there is also the casual and very basic normal type evolution. This one is one that I know most of you guys have an interest in, as a lot of people find the idea of an evolution that is just simple and normal type to be pretty cool of an ID. Here's Eevee On, made by Diego Guilherme, which is kind of just showing you the idea of what a regular Eevee would look like if it was somewhat larger in scale and a little bit more mature. But there is also a more extreme version of a regular Eevee, that being Eevee On, made by Greg and Raid, which features a rainbow color shape on its body and just a bit more of a, different type of design. And that rainbow, I assume, is representing all the different types that regular Eevee can actually evolve into, and possibly even make this evolution able to evolve into them as well if it wants to. I think that would be pretty cool, or maybe an evolution that would be able to take on the kind of typings of all the other evolutions. I think would be a pretty cool idea. Speaking of Greg and Raid, he also made Florion, which is a ground type evolution which is quite resilient. I love the design, as it is kind of described as this: when an Eevee gains considerable experience, battle underground, he may be able to evolve into a Florion. This gentle Pokemon is shy and scared by the presence of strangers in its territory, but they are not cowards. If need it, they become fearless combatants who skillfully confront their opponents, and they have a thick and pretty much crazy coats, which are resistant to direct attacks, acting like a natural shell. Its terracotta colored coat is a result of the absorption of iron oxide from the soil, making its body structure resilient yet delicate. They are rarely seen on the surface because they spend most of their time opening galleries on the ground where they make their nests. So would you guys want a Florion in your team? I'd love to know. Now, Greg and Raid also created Astron, which at first I thought might be some sort of cosmic evolution, which it kind of still is, but actually it's a rock type evolution, as evolutions only evolve into it from falling stars or star pieces of sorts, which would give it almost an alien feeling, as it would just be a rare, just a rare kind of spot to actually see any of these. Like, it would be a rare moment to actually discover one of these in the wild. So I think it's a pretty cool idea to have a kind of almost cosmic looking evolution, but it would just be a regular rock type. Next is Opterion from Solian Arts. Now, this is our obligatory bug type evolution that I think only makes sense to to include here, as it would be a perfect sort of evolution. The design screams bug type and gives you that sort of bumblebee and bee vibe, which makes total sense for a evolution in this case, but also for a bug type, right? Most bug types are based on real bugs, and well, I'm pretty sure a bumblebee and a bee are just generally seen as bugs and insects, unless there is some other category they fall into. But nonetheless, I think having a bumblebee almost evolution is actually really cool, and I think it's kind of cute. Bumblebees are like the cutest of the insects, I would say, so I wouldn't mind a bumblebee evolution. Now, I'd love to know if you guys agree with that, or if you think the evolution for a bug type would need to look a little bit different in your guys' opinions. I'd love to know your thoughts though. If you guys want us to create more of these kinds of videos, then take a look at the like button down below and press it, and also make sure to subscribe, and we will do more of these. So 1,000 likes and we'll do a part 2 for the evolutions. Then I think we have a design that was meant for a different purpose, in this case like awareness of global climate change, but I still think it's a really cool concept. This was by Startboy. This is a evolution that uses grass and fire typing, and honestly we have speculated that Scarlet and Violet, the games, might actually include some sort of gimmick or feature where Pokemon can change their typing, or type in general, or perhaps gain an extra typing temporarily. And wouldn't it be cool for a new type of evolution to appear that kind of matches this exact new concept? In this case, something in the type and design of this right here, which would be a grass and fire type. I freaking love it, and he has loads more of these, which you guys can see on the screen right now. I'll be including loads of them so you can just see what they look like. I just think these are fantastic, and honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing more of these. A steel type evolution. Again, this one is by Florion, and here we have a design that uses a samurai armor aesthetic to it, and I'm all for it. Who wouldn't want an evolution that emulates that total powerfulness of a samurai or ronin? And with the concept like this looking, I think it'd be going for a steel type evolution straight away. Obviously, I would want that personally. I don't know about you guys, but a steel type evolution would be perfect to have in your team, especially if the design looks like a samurai. A fighting type evolution called Florion, which was made by Florion, with this one emulating the vibe of almost a Shaolin monk and making sense with the fighting typing. I would imagine this type of evolution requiring you as the trainer to actually train your Eevee for quite a long time before we'll be able to actually evolve, and I would expect this sort of evolution to be extremely disciplined and well trained and requiring a lot of effort. So I think it would be cool, as I think one of the coolest things about Pokemon games is when they add those kind of strange evolutions, or just evolutions in general, that require a bit of extra work or things to do, and in this case I'd personally love this. I think it's just a cool idea. And finishing things off has got to be this right here, a ghost type evolution also made by Florion. This one is called Eevee On. I'm assuming the name is based on Beelzebub, which is a sort of boogeyman of sorts, and having a bit of a caveman-esque design on it with the bone structures going around its body. But my favorite part has got to be the tiny little ghost flame atop of its head, which is just adorable and gives me this feeling that this is still, even though it's a ghost type, it's still a nice little evolution, a friendly Pokemon that's not going to scare me to death. Personally, I love this one. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this one though. Like, do you like the idea of a ghost type? I think a ghost type evolution actually will make a lot of sense and will fit in really well. Again, dragon typing is still the one that I think is most likely, but a ghost type wouldn't be too bad either. And those are the evolutions for today. We will do a part 2 if we get to 1,000 likes. I'll see you next time.